Chat, everybody, welcome to the stream. This is the MasterMinds PogCast. I got Jordan and Dee here on stream with me, and we're missing Russ, but don't worry. If he joins, he joins. Otherwise, we'll catch up with him next time. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. Jordan, Dee, good to have you guys back. No, it's been 2 weeks since our last one, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
A lot's changed in BDO since then. Not really, but...
Yeah, Zerker got buffed.
Yeah, there's some class buffs coming in. Like, there's more coming in through, judging by all the stuff that's been going on in Global Labs. Yes, it was Zerker.
And they announced 1-to-1 Imperials and new brackets.
They announced it already? Oh, man. You guys are going to have to lead me through those because I didn't even hear about that till now.
That's because they didn't.
You got me. He got me, guys. He got me.
You're baited.
Absolutely. Nah. What do you think? Like, do you think they'll... I know we have, like, diverse opinions on this. Do you guys think they should increase the mastery?
No.
How about you, Jordan?
Yes.
See what I tell you. And I'll be the guy in the maybe. Yeah, maybe. It could work. It couldn't. I'm kidding. But let's hear you out, Dee. What's your thoughts on it? Because we just recently got a very easy mastery upgrade for everybody through the new crystals. What do you think they shouldn't increase it?
Because it still takes hundreds of hours of prep work to actually level the life skills for the natural mastery that they just removed the +10 from and gave it +5 in the higher levels. Like, who isn't Guru 1 cooking at this point? Like, there's... It takes you like... Oh my god, somebody's pen rouletting Pen Menace in system chat. Failed. Yeah, like, it's so fast to get to the levels that are past +10. So then you start only getting +5. So how are people that just don't have enough playtime are going to reach these higher brackets to get the natural mastery, the +5? And it's only +5 after like M1?
Yeah.
So all the leveling time, like, it's not as easy as you guys think.
So, quick question. If someone has G50 cooking and has full Tet Manos, I specifically say Tet Manos accessories, but pen clothes and artifacts and full mastery crystals, how much mastery would that add up to? Anyone know? Because I think that's like the theoretical cap a lot of players hit, and then the Pen Manos is a bit of a memer for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. They shouldn't... If they're going to do it, I agree with this sentiment right here. If they're going to do it, it should just be based around the Tet Manos.
Yeah.
Plus crystals, plus full levels. I don't know the number, though.
I'm thinking, like, if they do increase the mastery, I think it'd be fair for them to hit, like, just 100 below max mastery with Tet accessories. I think that'd be fair. Just because there's that room for improvement, and we can use the Life Spirit, the Florins, Book of Florin for the remainder.
Yeah, but then Pen Manos is still useless.
That's why. They can save their Book of Florins or something. Well, I guess it wouldn't add up because then Gathering would be like even easier to hit the cap, right? It's a give and take. How about you, Jordan? Why would you want to see it increased?
For the money.
No, not for the money. For the purpose of the gear. It's the whole point of the whole game is to grind for gear. And if you put caps at 2K, then all every player does is goes for the minimum requirement to acquire that 2K mastery. And so there's no like use for the Pen Manos accessories. Like, people aren't going to go for them because there's no purpose for them. Right? Okay. Everyone's just going to go full Tet and be like, all right, I'm done with that. That's done.
Sorry to cut you off, but that's exactly what people do in combat already. Everyone stops at Tet Fallen God. Nobody in their right mind is clicking for Pen Fallen God with all their might and power and all their silver all day long. There's like maybe 10 people across the world doing this.
Now,
Tet is already the soft hard cap in combat. Why can't it be for life skilling?
Well, the thing is, the equivalency isn't there. Like, a Pen Manos is so much more expensive than, like, 2 Pen accessories is going to probably equal to me and 700 gear score.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how much did Byrog spend for his pen access for 750
Like,
bill? For that he
yeah.
can get gear better than what I'm wearing right now. Like I think there that equivalency definitely isn't there.
And then think about the average person, like somebody with family, kids, and job. It's going to take him 2 years to do what Byrog did in 4 hours, but it took him a year to even build up that 6-7 months to build that up. It's just too much time. They need to make some part of it easier. Either the accessory needs to be cheaper by a lot, or some part of that cost needs to come down. It's too much, and the benefits that it gives you currently without any changes is fucking nothing. So it's not even worth it.
I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jordan? I mean, yes, the gear grind is like a important aspect of an MMORPG, but how would
Right,
you?
exactly. It's like I feel like for instance, I'm 2K cooking, 2K gathering, 2K alchemy, 2K processing. I'm like, all right, well, eventually I'm gonna get 2K alts, like just because I can with the mastery crystals. And it's like, all right, well, once I do all this stuff, it's like, okay, well, what is the point of pen close? Like some of the pen close you don't even need to hit 2K, like gathering, for instance. What is the point of, they
I
might
hear
as
you.
well just delete all the gear because their game isn't based off gear. Apparently, it's based off just get to 2K and that's the cap.
Now,
Like, just,
sorry, go ahead, finish.
and so, yeah, like that's what I miss about the game is like when Manos first came out, like that was the most fun part is the journey to trying to get to that cap. And so they need to either extend the cap because it's already been 2K mastery for 3 years or whatever. And there are tons of players, like, yeah, the majority probably aren't around 2K or have invested time in, but there are a lot of players that are sitting with pen manos accessories. We're all just waiting for
a lot. That's a powerful word.
Okay, there's a decent amount of endgame life skillers, and we're all just waiting for them to expand. So
now,
that we like basically what I feel like I'm doing is I'm prepping for the future.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to, push gathering to G50, so then I can be ahead of the curve if they ever do raise stuff. Like I will eventually go for pen manos accessories just because I'm hoping that they will extend the gear goal for people. And then, yeah.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but would you want them to expand the mastery cap right now without any other changes, or would you be okay with them making some sort of intermediary between pen manos and tet manos? Because the cost of a tet manos versus pen manos, I don't think it's proportional.
Right, it's not. And I've already like for instance, like the price of it is a joke. Like 300 or no, 150 bill on the market. That needs to be raised to 500 bill. Like they need to make it proportional with the tet manos accessory.
500. Damn.
500 bill. Because on average,
is that mathed out? Like, is that the correct proportion? Like, if you're looking at in terms of what the actual rate is?
So, like, it depends on the price of the tet manos accessory. Like on EU, it's like 25 to like 20 bill for a tet. On NA, it's around 25 to like 30.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to make it somewhere around like 500 to like 600 bill for a pen manos accessory for people to purchase it. Because to me, what's important is the people who want to go the buy route, they need to make it proportional with enhancing it. So then it gives the player the choice. Do you want to enhance or do you want to grind out 500 bill?
Right.
It's your choice. Not an easy, we just go 150 because that's the obvious answer. Which is what tons of players did. And they're all, there's tons, well, not tons, but there are a group of people that have pen manos accessories and they just go the buy route because that's the logical, easy route to getting, pen manos accessories. But if they had to work for their 500, 500 bill, 600 bill, then I would be more like, damn, that person did work hard to get it. Like
Right.
they earned it. And I feel like the people who got them didn't earn it. Like they got it less than half off basically for its true value. And so like that's just my opinion, but
How is that different from somebody who bought a Pen Ogre or Pen Laden for like 19 bill back in the day?
Now
well,
they
the
are
money an hour that people made back in the day was like way
Well,
different
same
as
thing
well.
for the people that bought Pen Manos at 60 bill, though. The money per hour is like 300 mil tops at that point.
They do
Right.
increase the price according to the current player earning potential, but they are a bit slow with it. So there is that gap in between where, yes, it is. If you get lucky and you buy it at the point right before they increase it, then yeah, you made out like a bandit. But they're just a bit slow with those adjustments. Do you guys think that they should actually be a bit more liberal with those? Like right now, it's a hard cap at 60. Why not just let it go up till as high as it goes and fluctuate down to as low as low as it goes? Like,
Well, sadly, they have to think about every region. It's not just NAEU. Just because we have the bulk of the player base and we have the sweaties and the tryhards, there's other regions, so they can't just do a global change like that without everybody being caught up.
I mean, like it would fluctuate according to their market conditions, though, right? I'm just saying, like, increase the upper and lower limits by a larger margin. Not so much that it's a free economy where you can just post it to whatever you want, but it still moves slowly as it does with its preset functionality as it does now.
So the whole reason they put caps on was so that people wouldn't like what is it called? Real money
RMT,
trade or
RMT,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. And that was the whole reason they did it. Me personally, like I don't care if someone does that with their real life money. Like I don't care.
No, I mean,
I'm
I'm not saying like a full free market where I can post it by like 100 bill more than what it is. It still moves up in the same ranges as it does. Like there's an upper limit we can post it for. There's a lower limit, but it caps out at a certain point. Like pen clothes, they're cap out at 60. Why not let it go as like, you know, as high as it goes, as long as there's a demand for it, and it'll fluctuate back down. But it's not like you can post it for 50 bill higher. Maybe like the upper limit and lower limit are like 5 bill apart, something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like okay, so like we'll just use like Pen Manus accessory for example.
Sure.
Like 400 would be the lowest cap, and then it could range up to like 600.
Yeah, whatever it is, it'll still follow the same pattern. Like every day it goes up by like, you know, 1 bill or something if people aren't selling it and there's a lot of demand for it. But if they're sitting on the marketplace, it starts going down. So like it's still using the same safeguarded system that's in game right now, but it has a lot more high limit. I'm saying this because the items like Pen Manos accessories, you know, there's plenty of people who are willing to buy it for the max price it is at now because it's a good deal. But if that price isn't like equal to it, not enough players sell it, so then the price should be allowed to go up. But this limit they put right now, which they update like very rarely, it's restricting that. Like if the limit was freely allowed to move to like 300 bill or something, or 400 bill, whatever, like according to the supply and demand.
Yeah, the problem with this is that alt accounts exist. So somebody with I know for a fact that there are sweaty tryhards out there with like 15 alt accounts that just literally collect calendar rewards and sell Blackstones and stuff like that and just tap Gamba tap, and they would have so much control over markets like this. It's not even funny.
And how do they utilize that cash?
Two
Like,
computers.
no, I mean, like, what are they? How do they transfer it? Like, I thought they got rid of those items which are abnormal in value. Like, I remember a year or two ago, there used to be certain items which were valued in a different manner, so that people can essentially transfer wealth from one another. But I thought they got rid of that.
You can already kind of do that. I mean, I don't want to say how, but
Yeah, don't.
let's just avoid this TOS kind of topic.
I mean, let's just take the assumption that they patch whatever exploit there is to do that. I'm thinking about like a free economy there, like but it's restricted by the current movement of the value of the item. All right, let me change it up. Why would you guys want to keep it the way it is? Like, currently there's an upper limit, and it can't go past that.
Gives everybody a fair chance that can't play 10 hours a day. That's the bottom line.
Fair, but the chance is pretty low, right? I mean, like, how many manos are coming up on the market every day? Like 10 manos, or every month, let's say.
One a year, one every two every year, about, I think, on NA.
Then there's
one every week on EU because they just have so many fucking players.
then there's no chance at all for, majority of the players to even get one. Like, right now it's not catering to people who play a lot, and it's not catering to the people
But
who
it's
can't play a lot.
reachable. It's reachable, and it's fair for everyone. The chance of one being sold is already low. The price being low means that everyone can participate. An RNG favorable chance to get one if you save up the money for it. It's already okay.
But it's only like a couple are coming on the market per year, not even per month, per year. Then why not change that? Like, how many? 17 Pen Manos necklaces have been sold till date. Last one was on the 14th of this month, so a couple weeks
What about
ago.
earrings?
So that's not too bad. That's only out of 7 pre-orders. That's not too bad. Let me check earrings.
Well, I was gonna.
14.
Well, I was also gonna say too, like, why should the person who can't play 10 hours a day, why should they have a chance at a Pen Manos accessory? Why should it be equal to a player that plays 10 hours a day?
Now that's an interesting topic. Dee, I think you were.
That's a spicy take, my guy.
I
don't
know.
what to say to that. I don't know what to say to that one. That's a spicy one, right
Dee,
there.
I think you were advocating that, let's give the guy who can't play 10 hours a day a shot.
A fair chance, yeah.
Right. Now, granted, it is still 150 bill to put the pre-order. Even if you make 1 bill an hour, that's 150 hours. That is, 2 hours a day. That's still a lot of time making that money. But regardless, let's say they're dedicated and they do follow through with that. What do you think? Like, there's so few coming through, and as it is, yeah, they might have a chance of getting it, but why not, increase the amount that are coming out? Like, people make it worth people's time to even enhance those.
Right, and that's the whole thing with the whole mastery thing that I was kind of like complaining about or whatever. The reason why they need to raise mastery is because if they don't, there's going to be no one enhancing Pen Manos accessory because there's no point to go for it, which means there's going to be no demand. No one's going to click for it. The price isn't going to move at all. It's just going to be kind of like a collector's item. But if you raise the price up, more people are going to click for it, right? If you raise it up to 400 bill, how many people are going to be like, dang, I want to get that 400 bill, then I can go buy a Pen Black Star.
Yeah,
I don't even need...
And then they're going to lose like half the life skiller player base because there's going to be people out there be like, oh man, I got 6 clicks right here. Let me just fucking roulette.
Right.
I can get 400 bill. And they're going to be like, damn, I can't reclimb because I don't know how to. And I quit. This is This is going to lead to people quitting.
But you know what else would kill any...
and then all that's going to be left are the people that play 10 hours a day. There's going to be like me, you, and I don't know, a couple people from chat.
Well, you know what else would kill people clicking Pen Manos? Those hidden gear in the files that you showed on your stream, D. The Artisan accessories.
Yeah. That is a welcome change. If they do it that way, I'm okay with Pen Manos being viable in new brackets. It should not be the way that it is currently, where it blows up.
Then let's talk about that. If they do implement these gear, so chat, for those of you who don't know, there are certain accessories in the files which are non-destructible and lose durability and when you fail an enhancement on them, and they're equivalent to Manos. So the pen is equivalent to Pen Manos. So let's say they do add it, but how would you think would be the best way to go about implementing it? We've seen the Pen Crescent Ring from Jatina, which is time gated. Would you be okay with a time gated system, or what would be another system in its place you would want to see?
Oh, time gated is pretty good. I like the sound of that. Like,
okay, that's fair, right?
7, 8 weeks. Heck, and make it like 3 months. Get
Hmm.
one Pen Manos accessory.
No.
Yeah,
I
the
like
sound of
the
that.
I like the time gated thing, but it should not be for it should not be for a free Pen Manos accessory. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's if you enhance it that way, all the way. Like it's currently in the system that it's not like a guaranteed enhancement. There's potential to fail.
It just doesn't blow up.
Okay, so basically,
It's a repairable
I want
Manos
you to-
accessory.
right, but I want you to think of it like this, Pansy. It would be like them giving a free Pendebo neck to all the grinders if you do 7 weeks of dailies.
Give them 2 years. They will.
But they already did with Kaposhas, the season handouts, the Pen Kaposha necklace. Wasn't that better than a lot of pen necklaces or something like that?
Nah, so it's
Right,
equivalent
but it
to
wasn't
a
the
Tet.
best.
It's equivalent to Tet.
Yeah, okay. So
yeah,
okay,
I mean, I understand. Equivalence of that is, you know,
Yeah, it could be
I'm
like a free Tet Manos.
I mean, I'm
accessory.
drawing
Yeah,
the
go
equivalence
for
to
it.
like the pen crescent ring they gave. Like, I'm not
hey,
saying
that's a big one.
That's a big one. That's a big one. That really did crash the value of the crescent ring. It used to be worth like more than double what it is now, I think, in its peak. But, you know, let's say they adjust the time accordingly. So it's not like, you know, the sub 2 months it takes like an ordinary player to get the Jetina. I don't know what the exact number of days is if they were to not miss a single day. But if they were to say 3 months, you think 3 months is too low?
Yeah, it needs to be like 5 months per accessory. If it's going all the way to pen for life skilling with new brackets, it's got to be longer than that.
I don't know, chat. What do you guys think? I want to hear some other opinions. If they did add the Artisan accessories, which are enhanceable accessories equivalent to Manos, but do not break and only lose durability on failure, what would be a fair amount of time for it to average? Because it is an enhanceable. It's not like a guaranteed one like Jetina. So, on average, what do you think would be fair? I mean, I would lean towards the 3 months. Because even if I played a
Per
year...
accessory, right?
Yes, for our accessory.
Yeah, that sounds really good to me. I like it.
Just because, like, in a year, you're not getting the whole set. But, you know, if I'm dedicated enough that I'm regular and playing to keep up with the dailies for a whole year, I'll still walk away with 4. In a year. A year's a long time. I think that's fair. All I know is that I failed 13 or 17 Tri-Manos in a row.
God, I don't even want to show my screenshot.
Oh my
See,
god.
I'd be cool with the free Tet Manos accessory, but not a pen, because pen accessory is basically equivalent to like an end game grind piece.
I guess
Yes,
that.
but what about the Jetina pen? How's that fair then?
It's not that's not the end game grind
anymore?
piece.
It used to be.
Like,
It
when
was
they came-
almost. Yeah.
But when they came out with it, wasn't there better
Only a tongue grad.
accessories?
I mean,
Yeah.
the earring is a narc earring, which was, you know, wasn't considered the best. Distos are considered higher, except in certain spots. But in terms of the ring, there was one which is better. That's the tongue grad ring by 1 AP. So it's like almost there. Okay, how about almost as good as Pen Manos? Let's say it was in between Pen Manos and Tet. Let's meet in the middle.
Oh, you mean Pen Jaranoa? Yeah, it already exists in the game. You can buy it from a vendor and enhance it for 30 bill, the cost of 1 Tet Manos, and it
Is it
actually
exactly
lines
in the
up
middle?
perfectly.
Is it
It's exactly in the middle.
Okay. I guess it's just
And
missing the
It's just
the
missing
percentage
XP. That's
XP.
it. It already lines up perfectly with the current brackets, which is exactly what makes me think they have no plans to raise this shit.
I don't want to ask what chat would think if we raise the price of Pen Jaranoa, because then I'd have to see you blow it all up again, like sell it and then go Gamba again. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want you to keep progressing, D. Oh, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, I guess you're right. There's always something.
This conversation is leading in perfectly to the topic of the podcast, which is the marketplace and how there's a lot of things on the marketplace, not just gear. We're talking life skill materials. A lot of it is just undervalued.
Absolutely.
Purposely, of course.
I was actually out for 1 hour, just try hard gathering truffle mushrooms. But you know what? In 1 hour, I had enough for 200 party lethal is it sharp detection? Yeah, one of those, the party variants of the blue elixir. So like,
Nice.
I didn't have to suffer too long because that's gonna last me a solid 50 hours.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to minigames, right?
No, I didn't hit a single one.
No way, really?
Oh, I don't know how to
Unlucky.
enable it.
What?
I
Did the
never
quest
enabled
line.
it. I didn't do
You
the
did
quest line.
Dude,
Oh.
you're gathering in the old method?
100%.
This is like the Stone Age without the internet or something.
To be fair, I was in the middle of work. Every time I had a few minutes, I'd go and press the truffle mushroom. So it added up to 1 hour, but it wasn't me sitting there the whole time. It went
Yeah,
better
so
than I expected, though. Like,
I want you to picture this, Pansy.
yeah,
When you get a mini game, now imagine your 2K hoe mastery.
yeah.
You're gonna get 50 truffles in one gather.
Damn, how much would I get if I was like 1400? Because that's more me.
like
Probably
two?
like 40 or 30.
Oh damn,
Like in a
let's
mini
go.
game.
And how often does a minigame proc, by the way?
5% ish. It's basically 5%.
So I missed out on like 2 minigames then.
So
All
think of it like a pen black star. When you tap at 5%, you can go 40, 50 clicks without getting one, and then you
Yeah.
finally get one. It's the same thing.
Gotcha. All right. Anyway, let's talk about it. So D, the marketplace grossly undervalues some items and causes a lot of scarcity. Why don't you kick us off in that direction?
Well, scarcity aside, the sale volumes too, man. Oh my god, I have such a big problem with the sale volumes in this game.
They're not letting you sell them quick enough or buy.
Yeah,
pre-order?
I can't sell stuff fast enough. I can make so much stuff faster than I can sell it to get my money back. It's ridiculous. They need to add way more sinks in the game that require people to like buy stuff off the market in some way.
That's what I was thinking about, like with those life skill crystals. Like I didn't, we talked about it in the last podcast, but I didn't like them just putting them out there in like nodes and then drops from hunting. Like if it was like a progressive thing, it was lazy. Like I think it could have been a much more engaging method and it'd be a lot more valuable. Right now, every hour I grind, I can go put up an order for 2 to 3 of those. Those orders will eventually fill, and then it's like nice new content, right? Could have been more. But yeah, anyway, Jordan, what's your thoughts on the marketplace right now? How would you want to address the current situation with that?
I mean, I love the marketplace.
Oh, you don't feel
You know
anything's
how I
like you wouldn't change anything in terms of like volumes, in terms of like pricing or anything?
I mean, I'd like them to create a little bit more variety. Like to me, like
Okay.
when I read patch notes,
Yeah.
when I read patch notes of like some or item needed for X or whatever, it just automatically clicks in my head, and I already know what's gonna like how the market's gonna react.
Right.
Just because I've been playing the game for so long. But like, yeah, just like more variety. Like it's like, for instance, like with the cooking market, like everyone just does Balanos Valencia. It's like, come on, like we need to, like, I threw out the idea, like if they do come out with an Imperial change, they need to do like a cron meal Imperial, because that's gonna literally bring up everything in cooking. Like you're gonna need coconuts, you're gonna need rainbow mushrooms. It's gonna be way diverse in cooking. So in my opinion, that's what they need to do, which would bring cooking to life.
But the prices, are they
What about
alchemy?
What about
ahead,
processing?
So alchemy, I think they need to.
I just wait. Just before you start, I just want to say that cooking is not the only life skill, guys.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just giving an example of like variety.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
What about alchemy?
So alchemy, they need to like either double, triple, or quadruple like the nodes with traces. They also need to. They could also like double, triple, quadruple the fruits.
What about a gathering for traces?
Yeah, they could either add Traces the Gathering, like for instance, you go to Pilgrims, you get some Trace of Savagery. You go sapping, you get
Wait,
like
that's
I don't
actually
know,
genius. I love that.
Trace of Ascension, Trace of
Wait, traces at
Earth.
the gather spots that they go into. That's so Giga Brain.
Yeah. Um, and then and then they could do like they could update an alchemy like Imperial or something. They either could go that route or they could do the whole cook thing and whatever route they want to go.
Origin, Violence, and Memory are not on the market, and Death is pretty low. Others have just some quantity sitting there.
Yeah, they could add like Death to Truffle Mushroom Gathering. Like there's tons like mushrooms just in general gathering. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, all the ones I get from grinding, I just save and I use them for my own elixirs. I think that's sufficient enough for me, but not enough for me to sell. So
Yeah,
they could also increase it on the grinding side as well.
yeah, and I think the whole point of them adding it to workers like fruits and traces, I think the whole reason they did that was because they knew more and more people are starting to get gear, and what are they going to do? They're going to run party elixirs, so they're trying to kind of like balance that so that not all the elixirs are just sold out, and all the traces are all capped and no one can get anything.
Let me check on some of the more pricier ones, or the more in-demand ones. Like Griffin Elixir is like peaked at 560k. Like it's not even like $1.5 million. They should really increase some of these prices. It's absurd.
Oh yeah,
And Griffin Claws are like
Elixir.
Griffin Claws are like
And
some of
you
the
see,
difficult ones.
and that's the problem too. Like somebody who's a life skiller, right? Like if I want to go gather and craft and sell for alchemy, I have to accept these terrible pricings.
Yeah.
That don't make sense at all. That don't reflect the effort that just literally went into making all this stuff.
Yeah, like Griffin
It's
Claws.
a huge problem, undervalued. Such a big problem. And this is just an example. Alchemy is just an example.
Why are Griffin Claws, higher priced by that much?
That's the elixir.
Yeah. I mean, are you getting like multiples or something here? Like, is it procking a lot? Because doesn't make sense.
Hunting the griffin, I get about like 40 griffin claws. So it's like 30 to like 40 mil just killing one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you hunt griffins?
The one in Ash Forest.
Oh. Yeah, what's the spawn timer on it? Is it anything rare or something?
I don't know.
I never heard of this one. I never seen a griffin over there. Then again, I didn't spend too much time in Ash Forest.
You know when you take gear on and off and you see that little matchlock icon pop up on the bottom right that says you've discovered a new monster.
Yeah.
That's sometimes 60% of the time ish. It's griffin.
Okay.
It tells you
one
that
every
it's
4 to 6 hours. Okay.
You'll also see it on the map. If you press your map and go look over at Ash Forest, you'll see like a moving icon. And that's when you'll know that there's a griffin over there. So like, yeah,
what kind of
on
icon
your
is
channel right now, there's no griffin.
Yeah, you're looking in the right area. It's not there.
Okay. All right, that's the first time I heard of it, but still, Griffin Claws, they're very scarce and their price is higher than the elixir. What the hell?
Yeah, it's literally so negative. It's like minus 9 bill an hour to craft them, but like you have to craft them if you want to use them.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
That's the thing though. Like I'm saying, like if there's a high enough demand, they should just let the upper limit just keep going for like a much farther range than it is right now. Because like
I think that was their idea with memfrags, right? 5 mil memfrags and concentrated 15 mil. I think this is their safety net that they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's to cover scenarios like this where if the demand is higher, fine, the price can move up, fine.
Yeah,
but they should probably do that for.
No, that was what
more stuff.
That was what I was saying earlier on when we were talking about the pen manos. I don't mean like us being able to say, "Hey, I want to sell this for 500 mil when it's worth 50." Not that I can freely just post it. Like if there is a demand, there are people putting up the pre-orders. It slowly starts budging up. Like, I think that would be fair because right now, some of these things, I think if they did have that, a lot of these dead areas in life skilling could have been solved with allowing the market to move far enough. Like, it would have been worth it, a lot of things.
Oh yeah, it would definitely create like new gather spots. Like for instance, like I love gathering underwater, and I love gathering the coral crystals because not a lot of people do it. And if they would just keep making deep sea, keep going higher, then
Yeah.
eventually my spot's gonna be fucking amazing. And then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh shit, we gotta get underwater!" Like everyone's gonna be running around looking for. And it would be
30
cool.
mil each, man. They're already 30 mil. But it'd be nice to have them
Yeah.
on the marketplace to, whenever I need them to actually be able to buy them.
Right. They're like one of the best in slot
Yeah.
elixirs
Absolutely.
or perfume.
Damn, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the market. I mean, it's definitely, I'll take this over the old marketplace any day because that was toxic. And that was the main reason I wouldn't play for like between 2017 to 2020. I didn't play simply because I thought the market was just absolute garbo. It wasn't until my friend said, no, they fixed it. There's a central marketplace now where you can just buy stuff and it's just sitting there. And it's not a bid. I'm like, okay, I can stomach that. I'm coming. Hey, that was you, Evan. And then he promised that he'd play the game with me. He never does. That's right. That's right. I hold grudges. But anyway, marketplace in terms of, what it is now, I think there is a lot of scope for improvement. It's not too bad in some
Like
regards.
Garmoth Heart.
Exactly.
Garmoth Heart would solve itself if you like triple the price or something.
Yeah. Easy 20 bill right there.
Watch half those periods fall off. Like, nah, I'm not paying more than 15. I'll wait for the market to come back down.
Exactly. No, that's fair. What do you guys think about the pricing for the infinite potions?
Pretty good. Pretty sad for me. I lost all the money because I gambled it.
I think they're overvalued.
I remember you explained this on your stream, but I'll let you
I'll explain
say it
on
again here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So if I was to go buy an HP pot at 12 billion silver, or I choose the path to just buy potions, it would take me 6,000 hours of hunting to pay 12 bill in potions. 6,000 hours. So far, I've done probably 300 hours of hunting. So to me, it's way overvalued. They need to be literally probably like 5 bill. I understand why they have such high value because, right, it takes forever to grind them. That's the whole reason people believe they should be higher value. But if you actually look at what it does and the cost of like potions, they're so like such a niche thing that in my opinion, it's better to either invest or take the money to go get better gear and worry about potions like very last thing. Like,
Fair. I understand your argument. But,
yeah.
We can't just quantify a infinite potion based on its value. It's also the time that it's saved. Not just when you're going to buy potions, but also, in between grind spot when, a player is emptying his inventory, putting it on his horse or putting it in his storage. That's time that the time that I don't have to spend doing that because, there's no weight being taken up other than the 50 or something, whatever it costs for the infinite potion. So, like, I guess it's not easily quantifiable. Just it's not a direct quantification of just the cost of the potion. But I do agree that it's not a necessity. But yeah,
is well worth the price for most people.
I mean, later on you can quantify each second that you spend based on how much money you're making. If you're making a bill, you can divide it by 3,600, to find out how much each second is worth that you're spending. But yeah, I mean, it's fair that you're a life skiller, right? So it's not as bad as it is for like a grinder who's like in a different position, like someone who doesn't have like max weight. I think they'd find that it's a lot more of a necessity than someone who has to spend like a few £100 just for putting potions on, or how much ever it takes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, remember there was a time that we, we didn't have those. We didn't even have the fairy auto potting where we used to put the potions on our health bar and spam the shit out of it. It was a different time. It was a different time. People, I know some players who joined, they're like, "Oh my god, I have to grind this." I'm like, you can take it a bit easy. You can get there eventually. No need to rush it.
Right.
Yeah, silver used to take up weight, and it was just a much worse game at the time.
It was a way harder, sweaty. Processing cost energy. Alchemy cost energy.
Oh, that's a blast from the past. Processing costing energy. Processing actually making money back then. I mean, it still makes money, but at a much less value. Like, once upon a time, there was like people like, yeah, I just process for money.
Thankfully, I didn't play during those ages. I would have been like, "What is this?"
Let me tell you, when silver cost weight, it wasn't fun. Like, I think 6 million would have overweighted me.
Yeah. I remember Sawsons. Sawsons was terrible with weight.
Mm-hmm. People used to take wagons over to Sawsons.
Yeah.
Not even just a horse. A fucking wagon. Oh, that was just. Yeah, let's just be grateful that PA improves the game year over year rather than leave it.
Can we talk about how in the marketplace, in the volatile price section, the first tab in the marketplace called volatile price items,
Mm-hmm.
90% of it is fake info with the costume stuff. Like if you scroll down, it's like 90% of it is just costumes, things that nobody needs to know about for volatility.
This
No,
costume,
like nobody.
This one
Yeah,
I clicked on. It's like last sale May 31st. I'm like, okay,
great.
buddy, thanks for that.
I guess I'll put the pre-order there in case low price. I'll definitely get it.
No one else is pre-ordering.
You know, yeah. These are fake info. I don't like this. I don't like that they add this to the information on this section.
Yeah. I think they're going for something there. Like people would keep an eye on it and, capitalize on market conditions. But this is a game where the tax is pretty damn heavy. So it's not something where people are just sitting and flipping stuff. If you have the merchant ring, it's a lot easier to do some of those mid to long term investments. But otherwise, you're literally waiting months. Like if you see like hards fluctuating and dropping half its price, then like 4 or 5 months later, they double back up. Sure, you can make some profit, but the margins are so bad because the tax is just so high.
Right. You can't play the market flipper life.
Yeah, and I think they don't want people playing market flipper just because it'll disrupt like the abundance of material for players.
Yeah, imagine Biohack trying to play market flipper. You literally buy every single category in the game and just sit on it.
All right, no more items for you guys, suckers.
He could pump and dump categories himself like solo.
It's like, hey, where are all the black stars? Like Biohack took them all now. Yeah, it's too late for that. I mean, what do you think? Like, if they actually had like, just a small amount of tax, like only 2% tax or something, like in
Arcade it was 10%.
All right, let's say that was 10%, but from the very beginning they had that. Do you think people would have just been like sitting and flipping the whole time, or markets could have adjusted?
Yeah, no, people would flip.
Yeah, anytime there's any method that requires little effort, we will milk it for everything it has. Like fucking.
Dude, you remember New World? There was no. I don't think there was a tax, was there? You could literally like buy something for like 1 cent cheaper and then sell it in a different town and make money.
Absolutely. Oh man, it is what it is, dude.
Tip.
RuneScape is the best. Like in that regards, they always had a free market, and they just recently added, just a couple years ago, I think, added a tax for the first time ever. Just to like start taking some of the money out of circulation.
Yeah, probably from people just flipping all day.
Oh, people still flip. I mean, 1% is nothing. Like they still make margins. But before, even if it was like 1 GP, they would just buy a mass 100,000 quantity or something. So what they ended up doing was put limits for each item. Like some items you can buy just 10, some items you can buy 13,000, something like that. And people do use alts and they don't care. They're like, all right, how many alts are you really gonna make to bypass that so you can make a little margin? But I
You'd be
get
surprised, dude.
even the biggest flippers.
In arcades, there was people running around with 100 alt accounts, and that was like the bare minimum if you wanted to succeed on legacy servers.
Yeah, arcades though there were limitations, right? Like account, there were limitations like weeklies and stuff. And in terms of RuneScape, though, for them, they didn't have that issue because if you had a lot of money, you just go flip bigger items, so you didn't need to just multiply endlessly in alt accounts. But BDO, I don't think could have handled that kind of free market just because of the nature of it, like the life skills and stuff. It's a lot more AFK. You're not at the computer when you're consuming items. I think it's just a different beast in its own.
Kwin in chat says you have to have alt accounts in the AA because of labor. They're kind of almost doing the same thing in BDO, except not alt accounts, alt characters with their own energy pool, with the cool energy meal that doesn't cool down family wide. It's just character based, and then you get a benefit for having multiple gathering alts that you can spend the labor on.
Is that the energy?
Or if you have the gear,
is that the energy gourd or something?
No, the herbal medicine.
Herbal
the
medicine.
New LML
Oh, okay.
energy meal.
Okay, the gourd is the one they just give for events and stuff, right? That one you're talking about is the one we buy from the marketplace.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Well, as long as energy pots stay sold out, then energy is valuable in BDO to an extent. There's always going to be people who play multiple hours more than another player and then undervalue their hours, and they have more to sell, which is another problem of mine, right? The listings in this marketplace that I spoke about earlier. There's this, you can make so much more stuff that you can sell. I have a problem with that. And you can buy way much more than you can sell too.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a very specific market, like cooking imperial market, but then it's bad money because everyone's doing it, right?
Yeah. And Jagged in chat said they could increase benefits for higher family fame. What would you guys do if they, what kind of reward would you want to see in like life skill family fame? Well, I'll just ask the life skill one. We'll leave the combat out of this one for now. Combat's pretty easy. Drop rate. Like the advantage, like you get life skill family fame by leveling life skills on multiple characters, right? Or you get.
Oh, that's
whatever.
a good one. Knight says gathering drop rate. Yeah, I would
gathering
love that.
Drop rate. Okay.
More Kafra's hard sharps. That would be pretty good.
And then, at the final tier, maybe a +1 energy region. I don't know. That might be a bit much. But that would literally light people's asses on fire to go and start leveling up life skill mastery. More energy.
But everything's already in place for that to be a thing. You can most life skills already have byproducts that you can just pass around to your alt characters and level them up.
Yeah. I don't know what they'll do next, man. I hope they don't think like, oh, Land of the Morning Light, we knocked it out of the park. We gave him new mastery, new things to hunt. We're good for a year.
I think they're already good for a year, dude. I'm pretty sure they're already past the life skilling here.
Man, the bartering dream. I know bartering's not too bad.
They got other stuff to think about. The 300 VT 300, all the problems that are going to come with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
What we desperately need is life in other categories on the market. Like, for example, dyes, totally dead category. I don't think I've ever seen something listed in that category ever.
What is the price of a dye? Let me check.
Then dyes are totally useless too because of Merv's palettes. So it's like this entire category doesn't need to exist in BDO in the marketplace. Either change something about the way dyes work, or make this a life skill. If I'm clicking into them and they have
that could be alchemy, man.
Make it a life skill. Just make it a life skill so you can go gather for dyes and actually revive this entire part of the
Yeah.
Marketplace.
They
Mount.
just they put the Pearl Shop workshop in, right? Or the Pearl Furniture workshop in now. It's like, hey, this is a less of an impact than that. That you're just taking away stuff from your Pearl Shop, This Merv's palette, that's already free. It's not like we're paying extra.
Yeah. Another thing they with the furniture is that none of that stuff that you can craft is saleable. None of it.
It's only for those tryhards who want to
sink their materials.
Yeah.
But then you go back to thinking about how useless it is because rank 1 housing is absolutely outdated. 10 years ago now, it's totally terrible money. So it's like, why would you even bother sinking time and money and materials into furnitures when it leads to nothing?
Yeah, that's a discussion in its own. Housing. I actually enjoy like decorating my residence every once in a while. But it's like, what am I going to do with this? I don't spend any time in here.
What they could do is make a free teleport back to your residence so that people can spend time in their house.
They should have used Magnus to make use of the housing. Like, you did the Magnus questline. Now, if you did XYZ, you can build a portal inside your residence instead of us going into freaking Magnus every time.
Oh, that's cool.
I doubt they'd change it, but in the future, if they added like, personal teleport portals or like you can link two residences, that would be even cooler. Like a residence in Odalita gets linked with mine in Heidel. Like one portal. Just a nice little portal I can just take and zoop.
I'm buying a mansion in LML right away, saving that 20 mil every time.
Yeah, they could have used the mansion for like teleports and stuff too. Like, oh, you can link mansion to 3 residences or all your residences, whatever the limit is. I think there's just more that could have been done. Church buffs, sure, I'd take it. Because it doesn't feel like I'm going to church anyway. It's just going and buying buffs. What's that got to do with that place? Jordan, what would you want to see in terms of housing? Like, what kind of feature?
I don't know. No,
Put
I'm
you on
not,
the
I'm not
spot.
really like I'm not really like a housing person.
All right. Well, what would make you actually become a housing person? What if like, would you want like some passive buffs out of it, or what would actually turn your head into thinking about housing if they added it?
I mean, I guess if they made it more like profitable to like actually craft stuff, like they could do that with like the workshop.
Mm-hmm.
If they ever rework workshops, then I would probably be more interested in it.
I think they need something like a guild hall instead of a mansion. I wish they added some guild hall stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think more could have been
like
done.
A guild bank, kind of like WoW, where you could put like meals and like stuff just to help out your guild.
You already have guild storage, which is limited to Node War related stuff, though, right? Sea monster hunting sort. I think if they added like a guild hall and then I want to make this suggestion, but it's kind of already been tried with like the drill, but the drill is just not worth us grinding out. What's the scenario for the drill being worth doing? Like, is there need to be like 20, 30 people?
Massive trade turn in, and everyone's working to help you out. Like, you're talking at least 2 million trade crates ready to go, because you can pop that gear buff, that 40% buff, like multiple times. It stacks.
Oh, damn. But yeah, I guess it's too niche. I mean, I like the idea they were going for, but it just wasn't implemented in a way that a lot of people can participate in it, or it's worth for them to participate in. I don't think XP was the only thing. Like, something which I would have been okay with, like, hey, we have a guild hall, and there are specific tools in there that only maybe like one person at a time can use and stuff. And in order to keep those tools around at the max level of it, then you have to do XYZ. You have to sink some materials in or pay a price in order to use it or something.
That sounds so much better. That sounds so much better than this guild drill system.
Drillo. I don't understand it, man. It's just a little bit of XP. I mean, yeah, it can stack, but the amount of time it takes, like even if it was you, me, and Jordan going full force, we wouldn't be able to really make it worth the time. We need at least 20 people. Dead content, you know?
Yeah, like a lot of things in this game. Whatever happened to Savage Rift and all that other Rift stuff?
Huh. Never
Isn't
been a
there like
Savage
some
Rift.
kind of isn't there some kind of
There
rift
was. I forgot what it was called.
on Valtara Mountains or whatever?
Yeah.
Isn't that whole place dead now?
There's also this one. There's another party thing. It's like it's in the mountain near Star's End that you'd go up on top of, and what is that called, chat? Anyone remember what I'm talking about? And every once in a while they'd do an event where you get cron stones out of and force us to do it. It's like, fine, we'll go in there. Yeah, there's a lot of dead content.
They used to have like a tower defense game.
I think that was it, right? It's some sort of tower defense. It's like
Yeah,
mobs kept coming.
Yeah, mobs would just keep spewing out, and you had to kill them before they got to killing whatever you were protecting. Or forget.
Yeah.
And then also the arena thing that they took out that a bunch of players were upset about when all the hards and sharps went to min price.
Shadow
because
Arena?
Yeah. And then that's when Blade, BowQuest, and Biohack basically capitalized and invested all their silver into hards.
I
and
remember.
sharps. And then they removed it, and then that's
I remember that. Shadow Arena, biggest flop.
I think it's what Russ did too.
Yeah, he did PvP in the marketplace. Marketplace PvP. Yeah. Hey, you just do. Thank you. But things like that, it made me sad. Like it was already, pretty decent, and it wasn't perfect. It had its issues, but it worked, and it was already in the game. Why remove it? And then they put in like a shittier client standalone game, which I tried, by the way. It didn't feel like BDO at all. They had like BDO characters, but they didn't have the same skill sets and stuff. It was just a flop all around. I don't know who gave the direction for that. Anyone could have told them, no, that's a bad idea.
It's almost like they don't listen to the players, because I'm sure the players would have said, "Hey, don't do that. Leave it in BDO, so
I'm
we
sure
can
they
all
did.
play it in BDO."
Yeah, it must have been one of those situations. You think you want it, but you really don't. #Blizzard. And Blizzard just recently released a hardcore server for Classic. They rip off the private server with Classic first. Now they rip off the add-on. They're like, you know what? I have a great idea. Let's make a hardcore server. Not that people were already playing for the past year, in their own mode they made themselves, but it's just with not just publishing, but development companies and stuff. Like, I mean, I really appreciate PA. They do take player suggestions. A lot of good updates and quality of life changes, and even major updates were from players. And it just takes time. I mean, they have their own pipeline. It takes like maybe...
I don't want to give them too much praise, because all of the stuff that they've updated is already long overdue. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want them to get comfortable and be like, "Oh, well, we're done. Our job is done." They're all happy.
It takes some time to put it into pipeline and stuff. I mean, I don't know what their internal workings are, but certainly aren't going to drop everything they're working on immediately to do it. But they work it in there. I can say that's more than other companies. I mean, like, listen, there's some updates with Blizzard we don't get until a new expansion. They're like, oh, engine rework. Like, son of a bitch. But yeah, it's what it is. All we can do is keep making the noise. Like, everyone, like, honestly, the biggest place you can drop suggestions is the forums. There's a suggestion area. You can then make a post on Discord, get some traction. I think we have to just keep on top of it, keep bitching about what we want. Sorry, Jordan, you're saying something.
I was just saying, they need like way more people like involved with their game. Like it's like they keep adding stuff, but they never fix all the old stuff. So they should have like one team that like literally looks at all the old, like all the stuff that has been min priced for like years.
I think there's only
ways to sync it properly. not
Right.
pump and dumps where it crashes back to min price in a week, and only the people who got to sell the limited listing amount could sell.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's like they don't have enough people actually like working on the game.
Did someone want? Someone's asking DFS. I'm not even focused on a grind. I didn't even see the dude here. Oh, dude, I'm just like stopping chit chatting here. It's like DFS. I'm like, yeah, have at it, dude. Oh, this game. I love it. Love and hate relationship here. Like as a gearlet, getting DFS is a pain, but at the same time, like that's a part of the identity of it, and they're making big changes. Like I was saying, it's one of those moments where you think you want it, but you really don't. When they start adding things like, taking away from the PvP and stuff, which I understand. I understand their argument. Like they have to make the judgment call. It can be a tough one, but they're gonna take a look at how the guild wars work, add more Marnie realms. But it's not a simple thing which you can just say, yes, this is a good idea. There's gonna be people on both sides of the aisles. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there, but hey, that's the game for you.
I was just gonna say, like, since I've been back, like, I liked how they added the artifacts and all that stuff. That was cool. It basically like benefited new players and benefited end game players.
Absolutely.
And then I like how I like the crystals, because then it kind of makes it like, once I would say, like, if I was like a new player, like when would I go for the crystals would probably be like either after duo or tri-manos accessories.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would want to start going for the crystals. So it kind of like
it's a middle progression point.
Yeah, it's like a middle
kind of like
progression.
Han's Heart, but cheaper.
Yeah. And now they just need to add end game content, in my opinion. Like it's like they're adding all this like middle ground stuff right now.
I mean, there were big holes there. Like there were pretty big gaps they needed to address, especially in like gear progression for combat. Like it's gotten a lot better. Like once upon a time, you'd hit that wall where now you have to grind an absurd amount of time for your next upgrade. Now you hit it a lot later. And to a point where you can do pretty much every end game grind spot, with exception for maybe one or two, and that too with the right party skill and buffs and consumables, you can do those too. But
oh my god, I just got an amazing G50 alchemy idea.
let's hear it. Go for it.
What if G50 alchemists could craft crystal protection for 24 hours to the market? As a perk for being G50.
I just like crystal protection.
A sellable scroll, crystal protection. Dude, I'd be rich. I'd be so rich.
But yeah, I mean, only like a handful of you guys are gonna take advantage of that.
Exactly.
Can you
incentive to push G50?
It's an absurd grind though. How much money did it cost you to get G50?
Over 10 trillion silver.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, Chief.
That's like 2 full Penmanos accessory sets.
Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, like that middle ground progression is necessary. I mean, it's made the game a lot better in some regards, that people aren't going to just quit like, oh, I can't get the best thing. And for life skilling, like Penmanos is so absurdly difficult. And because they can hit 2K mastery without it, I don't think it's much of a fuss. But if they did raise the mastery cap and not add some intermediary point or an alternative in between, then I think people will start getting frustrated again. I don't know. Hard to say with these things.
I was gonna say, with the whole crystal breakage, I want crystals to break, because then it makes the game more hardcore-y. If you put a failsafe on crystals, then it's just like people can just die and there's no like consequence or anything.
Yeah, I
kind of like the sweaty, like, oh, I gotta pop all these elixirs. I gotta make sure I'm doing this and stay out of this, and like, I don't know.
It demands a certain amount of focus, I think is what you're trying to say.
I mean, I thought I had it bad with, the black screen issue I was getting, but after my last video, I had plenty of people tell me about their experiences, and we're in NA, we have good internet relatively most of the time, but then there's people in like C and Taiwan region and other
Even parts
regions,
of EU,
Yeah.
parts of EU doesn't
even
have great
EU,
internet.
and there are people who are afraid to go grind because their connection DCs a lot. And it's like, I feel for them. Like, they can't even enjoy playing the game normally, and they have to like limit themselves just because internet could cut off and they lose their crystals. So like, there's a huge thread going on in the forums regarding players asking PA to make the crystal breakage go away. But at the same time, there are markets which could be affected by that, when like, drops in certain grind spots which could be affected by that, where if everyone has their crystals and they never break, you only need to buy a set amount, and then
There's tons of alchemy recipe chains that would get affected by that too.
Right. I was gonna say that,
Right.
whenever they make Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, you know what would happen on day one patch notes, or the very first day. Oh, crystals don't break. The very first thing people are gonna do is run to go take out all their crystals and min list the fuck out of all the crystals and try to get the silver. Like that would be the very first thing people would do, and then they'll go rebuy it when it hits min price. Like that's why it's such a
Yeah, I guess if you make then the materials to make those crystal extraction tools are just gonna fly through the roof. Everyone wants
Yeah.
them. But the thing is, like, there's two sides to the argument, and then at some point you're gonna have to just rip off the band-aid. Like, I'm looking through that thread, it has like hundreds of people commenting on it. I think it has over several thousand votes on it too. Like, it does ruin the experience for some people, but whatever they choose to do, if they do choose to accept it, which I want that to happen because I don't want to black screen and lose my gear and steer. I'd like to be able to use the 6 billion crystal I stupidly bought, thinking I was going to use it. But
At least you're not like me. I bought the Bongwong at 6 bill right before it crashed.
oh, Monka, why'd you buy the Bangwa?
Because I didn't read. I saw red and I saw it in stock. I'm like, oh, this is mine. 6 bill.
Yoink! All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope that they, look into the market, and it's not one of those situations where they update one thing, forget to update the others for a year, and just ruins the market. Like, I'm still remembering Roughstone and utensils and stuff. I just hope they do that research, and it's not just for this update, just for any update. That's one of those things that it just annoys me, because like, oh, this is a nice update, but now I can't do X or Y.
Well, do you have full Fallen God armor?
Me?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't even have a single try piece. You know how many cronstones they take for a single tap? Thousands.
Well then, yeah, I would be scared to lose my crystal. But if you're like fully geared, you're probably less scared.
I mean, you'd have money, but still, a 6 billion crystal, which, no one sells on the marketplace. You have to buy the sub crystals and make it. It's a tough loss, because like, even at a full tet Fallen God, like, people would still min max their gear, because that just means like, I think we were talking about it a while back, a few days ago, that it opens up room for them to buy side grades and stuff. So it's still a very integral part of their build, even if they have a shit ton of gear.
Yeah, I think they need to add more Caphras to Fallen God armor.
I think they moved away from that on purpose. It just, because like, at one point that was like the main end game for gear progression, and then they're like, you know what, we're not doing that, we're back to the RNG.
And wait, yeah, but also C20 Caphras was a sure way to get a pen in the past.
It
now
was.
You can't even do that.
It's still good. It's just 1 AP off. It's not like it's worthless. And
No, I'm talking about a tat to pen boss armor. Like, you could see.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then guarantee you get a pen for somebody who does not want to gamble.
That's why I guess that functionality was replaced by the guaranteed Jatina upgrade system.
Right into more cron clicks.
Yeah, I mean, the Jatina pen, I'm okay with that one. The cron cost for it to guarantee to go to pen was a bit expensive, I think. Or not the cron cost, the Caphra cost. To C20 a Tet armor, I think it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, but you paid the price for the safety.
Yeah, but by the time that was a thing, you could just buy it off the marketplace anyway. If it was before when we had the old marketplace, then yeah, I think it would have been worth it. So much that can be changed with BDO, but at the same time, it's like so much can go wrong with every change. I'd be like the worst person to be on the team deciding these things.
Can we address marketplace lag? Oh my god, the marketplace is so laggy and buggy, so many errors.
Yeah.
God, they need to fix that.
I was having an error with my storage, actually. Yesterday, I was trying to put stuff away. Every time I put one thing away, it bugs out. I have to reopen it. I'm like, what? A new one every day. Like, I never had this happen before. I was more amused than anything. Is what it is. But yeah, I always wanted them to add like another set of gear in game. Like, there's a lot of ways they could do it. Like, obviously, me being someone who lives on both sides of the aisle with life skills and grinding, I'd want both to be included. I don't want it to be another Tuvala situation where it's like, oh, catch up gear for PvE, but no new gear for life skill to introduce players into it, to ease them into it. But when they had a season where they were about to add something, well, they did. They doubled the amount of loot we get from gathering on a seasonal. I thought they were actually going to do something like that, as seasonal gear for life skill and stuff. But I wanted them to add a second set of gear, which was like non-tradable, but grindable through the game by in-game means, and utilize dead content. Like, I don't even want to go and do my rifts. Like, I think I have all 12 open, and they've been that way for over a year now. Maybe when an event's going on, I'll go do it. I don't know if there's an event going on right now, but it's like dead content, right? It's just not worth my time running around and going and killing those bosses and getting the loot from it. It's rarely ever worth it. My grind is making me more money. I thought,
That's how I feel about world bosses in this game.
I think world bosses just got some life back into it when they added the mythical feathers, which, thank God they added another means of getting it.
I don't know. I don't have a mythical feather problem because I press the R key and get Layla petals.
How many do you have?
I've had thousands.
No,
I've sold every single feather.
You had thousands of feathers?
Nice. I had thousands of petals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Every single feather.
Gotcha. Yeah, I recently traded in 1,000 petals. I think I walked away with about 38 feathers. It's pretty good. I mean, but it's such a slow way compared to like the actual rate of a dream horse, like a tier 10, a mythical horse. But utilizing those dead content, they could have added like materials which drop from the world bosses, and using those you can craft the gear and enhance that gear or upgrade that gear. I don't like RNG enhancement, everyone knows that, but I think there's room for an extra set of gear in this game without breaking the current dominant gear set. For example, you can keep the weapon like 1 to 2 AP lower than Blackstar, but add like customizable substats. Like, oh, hey, this guy enhanced it with these materials more, or upgraded with these materials more, which you get from a different method than another material. Like a different world boss drops a part of it, and they farm that one more than others, and etc. And you can add like maybe attack speed, maybe a little bit more crit, like 3% more crit, 5% more crit. And yes, you lose some AP, but there's this piece of gear that you farmed for and grinded in the game, not just bought, and made it. And it could also be a sink for a lot of those materials that no one uses and no one actually, wants to sell, and use those to be the byproducts or to create the byproducts for it to upgrade it and such. I feel like there's such a big room that it can be used to fix a lot of the marketplace issues. Then again, there's a lot of easier ways to fix it than adding an entire new set of gear, but it's fun to think about. Oh, is it just often that drops the feathers? Shit. I thought there were more. Field boss is like Mudster, right? Okay. Anyway, what do you guys think about like a whole new set of gear? Like with something that can be customized in that regards. Like even for life skill, like you could put more attack speed, more crit on like a hunting matchlock which you
I mean,
build up.
Arcade kind of did that. They had Haram gear, which they came out with.
Ugh.
And
Yeah,
then
I remember.
you
I
could
remember.
roll stats
Yep.
on it
Yep.
based on what you wanted to play.
Yeah,
or
I
like the
actually
kind of build you wanted to play.
because I picked the wrong one in the beginning, I spent so much time grinding out a dagger for my fanatic. And back then it was a lot harder to get infusions. It was all like time gated. And so like you can never catch up to anyone unless they quit the game. Because if both of you did all the dailies, then you're shit out of luck. But they changed it eventually. But yeah, I mean, several games did something like that. I think like before Terra died officially, like finally.
Terra was a great game.
It was. They had issues though, but they were too slow on addressing those issues.
I want to see BAMs in BDO from Terra, big ass monsters. I want to see that
BAMs,
in BDO.
yes. That's how like grinding should have been here. I enjoyed it.
It was like mini boss fights in the open world. It was just awesome.
That's what it was. And that wasn't just from like the end game, it was the entirety of the game. Like from the very beginning, you'll have BAMs. So chat, for those of you who never played Terra, Terra was an action MMORPG.
Almost just like BDO.
It was the OG one. It came out like 2009, 2010, around then. So even though it was old, it actually looked pretty good. It was like a, well ahead of its time in that regards. They had issues in terms of like how they executed their end game, but it was a great game. But anyway, the BAMF was basically a badass monster fight where these elite level monsters had mechanics. They had, skills, and they had different type of AoEs and telegraphs you had to dodge. And they weren't something you just one shot. You'd sit there for a minute fighting the fucker and finally kill him. And that's how you used to grind. There were some spots where you grinded like mass monsters, but that was just mostly for leveling. But towards the end game, a lot of the grinding that anyone ever did outside of like, dungeons and dailies and weeklies and whatnot were BAMFs. But yeah. Yeah, stations. When I was talking about that, I didn't mean for it to be like anything like, oh, it's a Pen Blackstar and you get this, but reduce all the stats a little bit and then give it room for like a customizable stat or several customizable stats. Because, if someone wants to build crit, that's really good for them because, hey, they are missing a lot of crit, or they can build crit damage, or another class scales a lot more with attack speed or something. But BDO, it just wasn't like built for that. I think that it's a slippery slope where everyone's gonna fall into one meta of like attack speed or something else, or crit damage or something. It'd take a lot of planning to implement properly.
Yeah, they could do that with like hides or something.
Yeah,
like the enchantments that like last for like an hour. You can get like 10% movement speed and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, we really need some use for those hides. Is there anything that is actually done with them right now? Anything useful?
Yeah, sit in storage and pump up those storage values that everyone loves.
Easy processing XP? I don't know.
Actual useful offload of the hides, not to meme, is the pearl bags. You have any pearl bags for your costumes?
Yeah.
So there's a weekly in Velia that you can make pearl bags. I recommend this to every one of my viewers on my stream.
Okay.
If your pearl tab does not look like mine, you are slacking.
Yeah. Okay. I'll definitely have to do that. Godride is an intermediary step between Tet Blackstar and Pen Blackstar because the difference is so large between Tet and Pen. So
there's a link in chat for the pearl tab.
Perfect, thanks. Is the Stars End pillar grind easy? I'm just at Stars End because I'm focused on talking right now and I don't want to focus on grinding. So I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just running around hitting stuff. It's not too difficult. It's like a very early mid-game spot. Mid-game spot, I'd say. All right.
I'm just processing.
Same here. Taking money off the market.
Nice. Anything else you guys want to cover, though, today? I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
How long have we been live?
I think we've been on the call for an hour and a half now.
Really?
Yeah, since you guys hopped in here, an hour and a half. It's 11.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Ah. It would be nice if the dead content wasn't dead. Like in MMORPGs, dude, like I miss those old days when you'd go into a super populated game and through the leveling process, you can actually find groups for dungeons you come across. Like there's always this side quest for a dungeon, but you can't get a group, so you just skip it and keep leveling and blast through the whole level. I miss the times when there was actual content throughout the whole leveling process. Oh, and that's why I love like MMO launches so much, because you get to experience everything right off the bat. And then if you wait till, everyone's at the end game, then you can never experience those dungeons in between, those mini boss fights and world bosses, whatever.
Yeah, I'd like them to add like 3-man, 5-man things to the boss dungeon thing or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Boss
And then
rush.
Yeah, boss rush. And then I'd also like them to give a buff to every class, not just shy, but some sort of buff that makes other classes like useful in a party. kind of like WoW does, like,
I mean,
like
there are classes which have taunts. Witch and wizard have their magic light, the lighthouse skill, or what is that skill that taunts monsters? Those taunt skills are there. They have heals, and some have more mobility. Some have, some are just way tankier. They could find roles for it, like, some mechanic to utilize it.
Yeah, like imagine if like Archer, Ranger, if you had one in your group or whatever in your party, then you get 10% crit chance. We're gonna want at least one Archer. Ranger.
You're in a cave. They're sharp rocks. What are they? Stalagmites, or which ones are the ones that hang from the ceiling? I don't know. Whichever ones those are, and then the Archer and Ranger can shoot them and make them fall on the boss. That's mechanic and do extra damage. If you don't have one, then yeah, you just tank and spank and kill it by other means. Like they could add like additional mechanics to utilize different classes, I guess.
Do we even random? But do we have group life skilling yet?
No.
Like I don't consider whale hunting and calc hunting group life skilling. Is there anything else that's group?
Just our world boss.
That's so lame. Like we need a 2 to 3 man life skill that we can do with the homies.
Yeah, like thieving. what did I want?
Like whale hunting, and they just haven't updated.
It's updated already. No, they're both updated.
How much does it pull?
Was calc hunting updated?
Yeah, it's updated.
What they update?
It's like I think it's like you follow it and then it just stops and then you fight it at some random place. I haven't looked. I know it's updated. I just haven't done it.
Now the thing is, like, even if they add stuff, it has to be like one of the best money makers, or else no one's gonna go there. That's just the nature of video players, whether it's life skill or whether it's combat. The money has to be better than anything else, or else we're not giving it the time of day.
Well, maybe not better, but what about equal?
Or something unique, like some unique, for life skilling, it could be unique material that only drops from there, which makes it worth it. You can make super good buffs or something for yourself. They have to add value to it. Yeah. Even if it's equal, that's good. That's good. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying doing Olins. I make $1 bill an hour doing it. And if I get better at it and the group gets more efficient, we can start making 1.2, 1.3. There's other places I can grind solo and make, really good cash, but I'd very much like to chill out with a group of friends and do it.
Yeah, I know. I thought about they need to make group content more silver than solo content, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, when they first added like Castle Ruins for Elvia, it used to be really good money, but the moment other spots, started getting past it, it died instantly. It's like, oh, solo's better. Never mind.
Because I'd like to see more. Like, I remember back when I first started playing BDO, I used to watch. I think it was Bert. He was grinding Ackman with a party. This is when like people didn't really have gear, and you had to group up in Ackman, and I thought that was the coolest thing. And I'm like, so I like Turos. Like, you have like a 2-man spot. You have Olin's, which is cool. You have another
Yeah.
really good party spot.
Abandoned
I like
Monastery.
the party
other stuff.
content,
Yeah.
like, because it makes grinding like so much more enjoyable than solo grinding, in my opinion.
Okay, 3-man
Yeah,
lumbering.
I mean, just look at the podcast. It's been 2 hours, and I haven't even noticed the time. It's just fun. It's just fun hanging out with your friends. You know.
Yeah, that's one thing like this game really needs, because I always tell people, make sure you're in
Community building needs community building badly.
You absolutely need to be a part of a guild and have friends in this game. Otherwise, if you're just playing this solo, like, what are you playing for, really? Are you really enjoying that 500,000 hours of hitting the mob? Or are you just doing it to do it? The fun factor comes from what we make of it, because it is a sandbox game. We can't expect them to spoon feed us fun. We make our own fun. We do what we enjoy, and the community is a big part of it.
Like, imagine like boss splits, right? They do like 2-man, 3-man, 5-man, and then they do guild man, where your whole guild, like, you can do like a 10-man guild or whatever, and like everyone is making like at least minimum $1 bill an hour. Like, it would be fun as fuck, and the money would be good.
I have a full-fledged idea for raids, but only guild only. You have to be in the guild. If you want to merc people in, fine. But it's a guild oriented thing where there's like 10-man, 20-man, and 50-man or 100-man, as big as they can make it. And I want it to be like difficult. I want people to go in with proper planning, come in with proper specs, best elixirs, and if they knock it down and they clear it, it's a huge win for them, and they get a lot of good loot. The annoying thing about like good loot for these guys in VDO is like, if we do dungeons, which is really good for the money and the time you put into it, it's actually really good. It's definitely worth doing. Everyone should do LVA dungeons. But the problem is like just RNG boxes, man. Give us something else. Come on. That's why I was like those ideas of, new set of gear that's craftable and upgradable through dead content means, like, it would fit in, because like raids would be something, I need to get, if I want to upgrade a certain stat of it or to a certain point, I'm going to have to start doing raids as well.
Yeah, and do it with like a guild, like you can do it with your guild or whatever. Like, you could have like a normal mode, a fucking Calamity 1 mode, Calamity 2 mode, right? And your whole guild's trying to like keep pushing or whatever. It would be so fun. It would be entertaining to watch, like, on stream, and like other guilds would have different ideas of like what to run and etc. Like, you could have all kinds of different mechanics, and it would be fun.
I think there's definitely a lot of room for things like that, for this game to be more group oriented. And with them, like, if they do go through with the Marnie change, where they're going to make Marnie regen after you use it up or after you consume some of the time. So like,
that's
every
a step
other
in the opposite direction of group building.
Exactly. If they add that to the point where every other hour can be a Marnie hour, the game's going to look a lot more dead than it actually is. Because why would players not want to grind in Marnie? There's only a few spots, a few minor exceptions where you probably want to stay in the main world rather than Marnie. So like, it just keeps going further and further away from, group content, joint content. I could do this group content and risk having to find a spot, having to find a group, or I can just grind by myself for good money. Almost every other MMO forces you to play.
Right, but if they made, doing the boss guild thing $2 bill an hour, like, to where it beats every single thing, then,
or a unique item,
and you could make it just like once a week type of thing, like it's locked down once you do it once a week.
Yeah. The reason why I don't want to put like a set amount of money on it is because as new things come out, it gets inflated, and then suddenly this falls out. Remember, we used to do guild summons at one point. Getting that new player to just join the game, a Laverto back then, that was a big deal. Like, back in like 2016, 2017, like those guild summons used to help, but eventually they just died out. I think con's like the only thing people really do, right? Yes, noobs, I said it. But like when a group spot is worth the money, like Gyphon uppers, like I see a lot of people run Gyphon uppers. Like if you go to party finding, you'll find groups. So it's like, because it is a really good aggro spot and it's really good money, you make over $1 billion an hour. And it's a party grind. So people will do it if it's worth their time. So it just comes down to how are they going to balance that? Like for raids, I'd want some sort of unique things. Like, hey, imagine we had some sort of like, you know, something similar to a legendary weapon in WoW. Like you know, every expansion there's always some class which gets some legendary, and they have to, it's time gated through completing the raid X amount, and it's such a good upgrade for them. They work towards it. That's why, like, another set of gear, there's a lot of room to add those kind of things in it. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know, Ulki. I didn't see any message from him.
See, me personally, I don't want them to do like gear locked behind dungeons or raids or whatever.
Why? Because it's already locked behind doing PvE. So we can't PvP for our gear. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I guess they could.
There's a room for it. I mean, like I said, it's not going to overtake the existing gear. It's not going to be like
Arcade had world boss gear. They had, I think they even had unique field boss gear. They had dungeon gear. They had crafted gear. They
had multiple sets, and it was great because, you know, for a fanatic, I needed a specific 2 set, which was really good for fanatics, and I had to farm a specific set of content to get it. I liked it. It added variety.
Another problem, like on the BDO marketplace, like Uriel longsword, Kreia longsword, Rosar longsword,
all of them
longsword,
dead,
Aswell longsword, Ain longsword. None of this gear is relevant at all. Like, none of it. It's just taking up space in the market. Either make it relevant, make it work, or fix the marketplace, man. I don't want to see all this stuff that literally doesn't matter.
The last time any of that was
even Tuvala is better than this.
The last time any of that was even useful for me was I was trying to make my Kragdala horse gear. I couldn't find some material on a marketplace, so I had to buy those old gear to melt it down. Like, it's such dead content. Now it's like, oh, you feed your fairy with it. Dragon Slayer, that too. Wow, yeah, Spice is right. How long has it been since we've seen a Dragon Slayer weapon? The bootleg Awaken weapon. Yeah.
I think people use it to fail stack or something.
I haven't seen it ever for years, man. Since like 2020, yeah.
What's your opinion on enhancing for profit? Do you think they should make all the gear like Manos, where except, you know how you can't cron Manos, you can't like protect it, but still allow it to where you can protect it with grind gear, but to eliminate enhancing for profit. So
no,
basically,
I mean, like,
players have to grind and they have to life skill. They have to pick one or the other.
The thing is, enhancing for profit is such a niche thing. Very few people can do it, like, to make that big money to get to the point of like someone like Biohack or Salt doing it at a large scale.
Or just be a new player and one tap your pen Black Star onto the J Hammer and then sell it and then do it again.
And then lose it all and then quit. I mean, it's a very low chance, right? I mean, it sucks.
Well, no. Well, what I think about is the new player, right? We care about the new players.
Sure.
Is it easy to learn how to enhance? No. Right? For a new player, they're like, oh, I remember when I was new, I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's why they have Tuvala gear, though. It's supposed to teach them the concept of enhancing.
Exactly. But if all they did was make it a flat percent, you tap it, it either goes or it doesn't, then they would understand, oh, okay, I have a 15% chance, I need these materials, or I can protect it. You can still protect it, it just eliminates people sitting in town enhancing for profit.
I mean, what's the harm in them enhancing for profit at the moment?
I mean, it's stupid because I've made more money sitting in town than I would have made just running around playing the game.
I mean, there was this time, last time we used to do Masterminds, we had Biohack on here, and, you know, he said the same thing, like, you know, why would I do anything else? This is the best money. But at the same time, like, it takes a special type of person to pursue that, because it is You know, you're just sitting in town doing that for many hours. If that's how you want to play the game, that's how you want to play the game. I don't want to play the game, so I never did that. Or I don't want to play the game like, you know, in that manner. Like I don't see it breaking the game. So
I
like
think
if there's
Jordan's gripe is that it's the best money. It's not normalized money.
It's like, okay, for instance, they have life skill and grinding pretty close together. Then you have enhancing for profit. Now, okay, so what if you actually could get the true value of like enhancing for profit per hour? Like grinding, life skilling, both around pretty close to like a bill to 2 bill. We'll say like max around that. Right? What if enhancing for profit is like 8 bill an hour? Do you think it's fair that life skilling and grinding are both behind while enhancing for profit is twice the amount per hour?
I mean,
What
look,
where
it's hard to quantify that because if it was truly the best and it was so accessible, a lot more people would do it and the game would be pretty, you know, a lot more leaning towards that to being the viable method. It's a very niche thing that very few people can actually get into. And it's usually someone who's already been through the grind of the game who can build up the capital and the resources to do it properly.
right, but we're thinking of the new player, right? To make the game easier for them, right? Manos is pretty easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as knowing what to do.
Sure.
If you do the same thing to grinding or the same thing to enhancing like regular gear, it's going to be easier to understand for newer players, and it's going to eliminate people sitting in town 24/7. They will have to either choose to life skill or grind to receive their silver.
I understand.
And then
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
like you remember the old days, like basically people would go grind, people would go life skill, and then it would be exciting to go watch someone enhance because they did all this work. And then they're going to go enhance and try to make whatever gear they're going for.
It was pretty exciting, you know, seeing Byrog tap those manos.
Right, but he answered how he made all his money. The majority of his money was made through enhancing for profit.
Okay, I mean,
so he sat in town and clicked and made money because it's the most money an hour.
After you get to his point, but to get to that point, he's been through years of grind, years of life skill. If it was like an accessible thing for everyone, it would become a problem because a lot of people would sit in town just tap tap tap. But a lot of the taps we see are people gambling or actually trying to enhance an item for an upgrade. But you know, later down the line, once they're towards the end game, they have, oh, I got a duo from this box. Let me try to make it into a try, and that's just gamba. But I don't think it's still very accessible for people unless they get to like the point of a merchant ring to actually sit there and just tap 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 for profit. If we did make it a set percentage, like it starts eliminating the need for fail stacks, which personally I don't mind, but at the same time, I like the idea of fail stacks. If I want to be on the safer side, why not, you know, be willing to lose more money because each fail stack has an innate value.
Well, what if you could still increase that percentage? It's just it would eliminate enhancing for profit. That's what I'm trying to kill in the game.
you got some beef somewhere that you're not telling me.
No, I want people to play the game.
There's very few people who sit and enhance for profit, though.
I want to see people life skilling, people grinding. I don't want to see people with their stream off and clicking, and then all of a sudden they turn on their stream and they're life skilling or they're grinding. Like, no, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Who's doing this?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying, like, I know how people are making their money, and it's just like annoying because they're not playing the game.
Well, to be fair, in my case, I've already beat all the life skills, brother. So I'm already G50 on all the marketing life skills.
Look at D. He's been enhancing.
I've put in my time already on the market.
No,
D's been trying to enhance for money for a long time. He keeps blowing his shit up. What's the deal there?
I'm not hating. It's just like, I wouldn't mind it if it was around the money of grinding and life skilling. Then go for it. Bam. Pick your style. What do you want to do? Do you want to enhance for profit? You'll make around $1 bill an hour, $2 bill an hour if you're really good at it, right?
I mean,
or grinding or life skilling, right? You get to pick.
It's very few people who actually can afford to do that, man. Like if we look at the percentage, like 99%, 99 point 999% are probably out there playing the game. It's probably a handful of people who can actually afford to do it or are willing to do it too.
It's really not that difficult. It's really not. Like I could teach people how to do function close just as like starters. Like if there's so much profit in enhancing for profit, you don't even understand. Like I could make like I probably average like 2 to 3 bill an hour just doing function close. Like it takes no time at all, takes no resources at all. It's literally no effort at all. It's
just playing
clicking.
the averages. Yeah.
But like, it's not
Yeah.
like anyone's harming the current state of the game by doing it right now. Like if it was something that was impacting the market, like there's a scarcity in mid-level gear because everyone's buying it. Like for example, Black Stars. But the thing about Black Stars is like it's pretty damn easy to get to, like enhance yourself all the way up to try, and then Tet starts,
I,
taking some
I
time.
mean, but who pushed Pen Fallen God to 1.8 bill or 1.8 trill?
What do you mean?
How many players have 1.8 trill silver? Liquid.
The thing is that the rate is so absurdly low to succeed for those. Like it's not necessary because
right, but what I'm saying is that a person pushed it all the way to the top. No player in the game has that amount of silver, and the way they earned it was through enhancing for profit. So if you eliminate that, then they have to go grind or life skill. They have to make around 1 to 2 bill an hour at endgame, just like the majority of players. It's just like sea monster hunting years ago, right? The majority of players made around 100 mil an hour around endgame. But how much did sea monster hunting make? Oh, you made $1 bill an hour.
yeah, but a lot more people did sea monster hunting than they do for enhancement for profit.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is people keep abusing systems that they're not actually playing the game.
And they changed it.
Right. They did, but they didn't punish the people who did do it.
This guy's out for blood, man. I mean, it's PA's fault for making.
Out for blood. I'm looking out for the new players, right?
I mean, how is that guy enhancing for profit hurting that guy? Because like new players make a lot of money, a lot of liquid silver from selling those memfrags they got for free from the game.
Okay, so I remember like I think it was like 3 years ago when I was making my +5 gathers or whatever, and this one dude saw that, like all the profit that I was making, because like I made stupid money because Trace of Forest was like 6K each.
Sure.
Like literally, I would spend like maybe, I don't know, less than 100 mil to make like a +4, and +4s were like 1.8 bill. Like that's how dumb the profit was. And a guy saw me, and he basically ran a whole empire just full of function clothes. Like literally, he did like as many workshops as he possibly could, because he saw the amount of silver that he's making. That's how he played the game, which was cool because it's a very unique, different play style with an empire. But yeah, all he did was sit in town, and every day he would just click and make clothes, and like, and I'm just like, all right. But if they made it a flat percent, right, to where you don't even have to build stacks, then it's like, all right, you just click it and up. If it fails, okay, you got to go get more silver. You got to go grind or life skill.
I think it would just collapse like a lot of markets if it was just flat percentage, though. Like a lot of the materials being consumed in the enhancement, in terms of enhancements, it's like for building fail stacks, like blackstones and stuff. Even like boss armors and stuff.
We'll say pen accessories were stuck at 15%. Or yeah, 15%. You know, that's a fair percent?
It's a fair percent.
It's like a 300 stack.
No, I definitely think it wouldn't be bad if they did it, but I just don't see like that need for it. If it was abused right now to a point where it's hurting the game, we would see it happen in the marketplace. Like, do we see anywhere that it is being blasted where we can't buy a certain item? I mean, the one thing I can think of is like our Tet Black Stars, right? There's so many Tet Black Stars, but you can't buy Pry, Duo, Try that easily because they're easy to enhance till Tet. So people enhance those to Tet and sell them in the process of building fail stacks. But other than that, I really don't know where it's coming in because there's plenty of gear in between to cover not having like the other ones.
Okay, so if you knew enhancing for profit was say $4 bill an hour, what would you be doing right now?
Biohack told me years ago that he makes
enhancing?
infinitely more money enhancing for profit. I have a friend who has a merchant ring who makes stupid hundreds of billions enhancing, but I also see him blow it up. That's just not the kind of game I want to play. So I never went that route. But also in order to go that route, I have to put in like a lot of capital. I'm going to have to liquidate my gear. I don't have the kind of capital that it requires to do that because it's not something you can even start at 100 bill. Well, there are cheese methods, but the cheese methods aren't going to.
You don't need hundreds of bill to start. People are just saying that because they're trying to keep people away from it.
Okay, you're telling me there's a secret method.
I literally started with a bill like 5 days ago. I've made over 100 bill.
I'm telling you, dude. You don't.
All right. I understand. There might be a secret method that people are using.
Yeah, like you don't even need the +5, like 30,000 quests. Like you can still make a ridiculous profit per hour.
I got you.
So it's just people that are trying to keep people away from it so they can keep generating silver on it.
I got it.
Speaking of silver, we need more silver sinks in the game.
Yeah, I think they tried to add that with those new potions in Land of the Morning Light, the gourds, which heal more than Infinite Potion, but are a lot more expensive. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The ones nobody's going to use because the regular pots are family now.
Pretty much. I guess in like certain PvP scenarios where they're going full gung-ho, they cannot lose at all. They'll consider, but yeah. That's just another way of screwing PvP players. How so? You don't have to use it. People are still one-shotting each other, killing each other in one combo even without those. I think there's too much damage in the show uses it, yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of endgame players use it, especially in situations where they're fighting for their node or a siege, but they also spend money doing it. How much is each one? How much is each gourd? Like 500k or something? There's a new healing gourd, which is like, on the cooldown of a potion, but heals a lot more than what the infinite HP potion heals for. But it's like hundreds of thousands of silver each versus like a few thousand. 400 HP is 500k silver. What do ours heal? Ours heals for 275. So that's 125 more for like times 20 the price, 30 the price, whatever it is. It's a give and take. They're willing to pay the price, let them pay the price. But coming back to what you're saying, Jordan, I get it now. I understand the situation. There are methods in the game which are ridiculous that people are abusing.
Right, and it's like
Not me, no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like quote this like for real or whatever, but like I even think I heard someone ask Choice, do you enhance for profit? And I think he has said that he's been dabbling in it. Like, people, all the top players are all dabbling in it. Like
once you have the merchant ring, dude, it's a different game. Like, even if you don't want to enhance for profit, you can actually sit and flip items on the marketplace a lot easier because your margin is so much higher. That 5%, it makes the world of a difference.
Yeah, that's why I want the merchant ring. Like, it's
me too. I don't want to work anymore.
But yeah, like I don't know. I don't think it's healthy it's a healthy way of making silver.
I mean, I would say if there is some exploit related thing that is groundbreaking, just put in a ticket.
He's talking about enhancing, dude.
I mean, like he's specifically not calling out enhancing. There's certain methods within enhancing that are making that redonkulous money.
It's just playing the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just doing the average. Like for like as an example, like +4 clothes or whatever. I'll just use that as an example. Like on average, it's probably going to cost me about 200 mil to make a fucking +4, which is worth the bill.
Mhm.
So I could go 3 times in the hole and still profit. Like
Right.
that's how dumb it is.
got
Now,
ya.
obviously, like the other stuff, like pen accessories and stuff like that, margins are way different, but it's still the same. It's still the same system. Which if all they would have to do is just make everything like Manos. It helps out new players. It gets rid of building stacks, and bam, it just fixes everything. Then everyone's grinding, everyone's life skilling.
I've enhanced
People are still enhancing too. Like you can still enhance.
I've enhanced some of my gear. Like my pen Blackstar was my own tap. I've enhanced all my Duo Fallen Gods, and I enhanced all my Tet Manos clothes and stuff. I dabble a little bit in it, but I do enjoy just being able to buy those things I really don't want to risk that pay the risks for, like pen accessories and stuff. And if people made those because they were trying to enhance for profit, I think I'm okay with that. But if there is some cheese methods which are like kind of breaking the game, I don't think what Choice was talking about was anything like that. He just has a much higher margin with a merchant ring, which he can actually do a lot of things that an ordinary player can't. But yeah, I think if there's something specific, I report it. But otherwise, like new players, they do benefit from people enhancing. Like, hey, I have these hards and sharps. I don't really want to enhance. I don't want to use them. Can I get a good amount of money for it? Yeah, people want those, right? People want those mem frags and stuff.
That's the new player's mistake. He could have one-tapped that pen Blackstar.
Exactly. What a pansy. That's what it is. Yeah, Tenry. Me too. I'm willing to enhance. Like, I even enhanced because I once made an extra Blackstar main hand. I enhanced it to Tet willingly and sold it for profit. But when it comes to a pen, I don't want to do that. Like, it's a lot more difficult for me to stomach enhancing a pen Blackstar just because the rates are so much, lower. It costs so much more. But who is on this podcast? We got Dee and Jordan. But yeah, I think we covered a lot of shit. Good stuff, man.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Time for bedtime for you, huh, Jordan?
Yeah. Hopefully I wake up at a decent time.
Yeah, I'm waking up past noon tomorrow. I appreciate the follows, guys. People want their name. If they want their name, they can tap for it. It's a noble thing. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. All right. Anything else you guys want to cover? Meantime.
Yeah, Jatina life skill gear win.
Yo.
At least Floramos. At least try. You know what I mean? Like, at least finish the Floramos wheel.
Yo, Flower Cam, thank you.
As a baseline.
Flower Cam came in with the raid. How's everyone doing? Welcome. We're just getting to the end of our podcast here. We talked about a lot of fun stuff. It'll be on YouTube, so definitely check it out. But yeah.
Oh my god, the crashing, dude. They gotta fix the crashing. I've crashed 10 times running through town already.
Really? What kind of crash is it? Can you describe it? Do you get a black screen?
Straight to desktop, dude.
You don't get a black screen or anything, right?
No.
That's 100%
the last
BD.
patch, like a lot of patches say, hey, we fixed the crashing. But no, you didn't fix the crashing.
They might have. They just made new ones. Got to keep you on your toes. Yeah, I know. It pisses me off. That's why I quit in February earlier this year. Like, I got tired of losing my crystals because of the crashes. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to go be bad in Diablo. I just switched from life skill to grinded then. Like, I wanted to start grinding and stuff and do different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's why
you had that arc, right? You went combat to life skill, back to combat.
Not really an arc, because like it was last year during the summer I bought life skill gear. And then there's a time like, I only played life skilling because I didn't feel like grinding at all. Because it's always the same thing for me. Like the amount of time it takes to get some of the end game items is just so atrocious that I don't even feel like playing. So like the next upgrade it takes me 120 hours of grinding. It's like it just really kills my mental. I have no
Oh,
motivation.
I was actually talking about that on my stream. Like, wouldn't like instead of pushing for hard cap, right? Like once you're at the Fallen God stage in combat, isn't that wiser to literally just stop spending money on any further upgrades and just, I don't know, push up another part of the account like life skilling?
Yeah. I mean, the
Like
thing is,
there's probably nobody besides Bio and maybe like 4 other people across the world that are just dumping all their silver into crons for pen Fallen God clicks.
the thing is though, like for me at my gear score, if I stopped and, said, hey, I have enough gear, that's only enough gear to grind. I can't do anything in PvP. Even with like 710 gear score, 715, like if I come across someone who's like proper hard capped and have all their side grades and everything, I'm hitting them for nothing. They're still blasting me. Like it's just not enough gear, and not being able to catch up without having to put like 500 hours of just hardcore, gung ho grinding it's one
So
of the big walls.
do you think they need to nerf like the end game gear
There's
then,
always
to make it more balanced with Tet?
I mean, the thing is, when we come up with like, hey, make it easier to get to that same point, then there's always going to be the group of players who are going to argue against it. That's saying, oh, we worked for it. Oh, if everyone has gear, they'll quit the game. So like, there's arguments to both sides. But the thing is, if people are going to quit the game because they have gear, then there's probably an innate problem with the game that they don't have the meaningful content to keep us in it. If they're keeping us in with the carrot on a stick of getting gear, then I think they need to come up with better, more meaningful content to keep people in the game.
Yeah,
Bit of a
like
tangent,
raising
but
still waiting for that.
Hey, dude, 1-to-1 Imperials is right around the corner, man. Just keep your hopes high.
It's my time to shine.
PA will come to your rescue. I promise.
Yeah, I mean, Guild Wars 2 is a great example. I mean, the gear in that, you can get the second best gear on your first day, like if even if you just pay to win or something. But the second best gear is so common, like it's the baseline for everyone. The best gear is just 5% stats higher. So it's a small enough upgrade that, people clear the hardest content in the game wearing the second best gear. And the advantage of the best gear is like, hey, you get a little bit more stats, and then if you want to push a little bit further, you get legendary gear, which is the same stat as the best gear, but you can change the substats around, like on the
Can't you
fly.
already do that in BDL though? Can't you push all the way to the full end game potential of grinding?
Yes.
With only Tet Fallen Gods.
Without Tet Fallen God. Tet Fallen God is like way past what most people do. That's like the end, like the final armors they get. Most people are at duo or try. You can get to the all grinding with just duo. Like you can do all PvE content. Yes, absolutely.
Even all Kalita?
Yeah. I mean, with my gear, I can do it. I just have to switch to Narcs instead of wearing distos.
Okay, so there we go.
But the thing is, this game's true pinnacle is always the PvP. Like until they add like raids and shit, like something that
They need to make incentives for open world PvP, like.
But the thing is, open world PvP always ends up like being griefing because like people want that spot, they come and beat the other guy out. Usually they're less geared.
I mean, just make a super unique world boss that drops crazy loot that people have to fight over.
And it's the really highly geared people who will always win that one. Like the difference in gear.
I mean, that was true in ArcH 2 until all the Zergs, all the undergeared people zerged up and then beat the hardcore people. Like
this game is balanced in such a way, like one really hard cap gear guy can like kill 1,600 gear score people. Like, I mean, that's a bit exaggerating because they could all wear accuracy accessories and whittle them down. But the scaling is just off the chart. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you feel like it's like think of World of Warcraft like a twink? Like remember the twinks level 20, and you could not kill them if you're like level 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So maybe it is too overpowered. Like having full pen gear is too overpowered to where You know, if you're like a player that has maybe one pen accessory or whatever, you don't really have a chance against that player. So maybe they need to undertone it or
I
whatever.
mean,
Make it
I
a
think
little bit
BDO.
less.
I understand what you're saying, but like there are two
Yeah.
arguments to each side, right? Like there's this guy who spent like 800 hours getting his gear to like the best of the best, and then this guy with like 300 hours, 350 hours, whatever choice put into like, show people you can get to 700 gear score relatively well. If you start bridging that gap, like it's such a big one that it's going to turn people off in the sense that you'll lose a lot of your existing end game player base or something. But it's a
Yeah,
risk.
but
It's a risk. You can bring more people in that way too. But
right, because then it'd be more about skill.
me
Like that's how you want the game to be.
yeah,
You want it
yeah.
to be about skill, not gear.
Yeah, but I mean, like me, I personally want it to be easier and for me to get like to the point where we're on equal footing. But I'm looking at it from both sides' perspective. Despite what I want, it's just that the current state of BDF, if they suddenly did that, it'd be bad. If they introduced that over the course of a year or two, like through new content and like the new gear set I was talking about, an idea for the gear set, that's a way to probably bridge some of the gap and eventually get to that point. But at the moment, I don't think they can sustainably do it without like pissing off their core player base. Unfortunate, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, but we're thinking about the majority of the player base. We're not thinking about the hardcore.
Yeah. I mean, there's both side arguments to both sides, and I see both of them.
I do like the arena of Solaire or whatever, the thing where they make it equally gear and then it is all about skill.
Have you tried one, Jordan?
I personally haven't tried it at all.
To a certain point, then it becomes RNG. It's all about RNG and your teammates. You reach that skill ceiling, and then a lot of it, it's very difficult to climb. Not that someone is bad or something. It's just that you're grouped in the random groups, right? So
yeah, I'd like them maybe to make like they could do like a random ranked or whatever, and then they could do like a where you actually can team up with people who you're more comfortable PvPing with, and it could be like another ranked thing or whatever.
For that,
then you can
like
good. Fucking...
I think a lot of people asked for that when it first came out. Like, hey, let us group up with our teammates. But if you put Armin and two others like equally skilled or near his level, they're gonna annihilate everyone. That dude goes to like different regions, drops people, left, right, and center. He goes to Japan and claps them. He goes to EU, claps them. He'll even pick up a new class he doesn't main, and he'll start clapping people.
Yeah, but there could be a Tuvala Timmy that fucking owns Armin and slams him on the ground, bends him over.
There's
like,
enough,
you never know.
If there's enough player base, it could sustain that. But right now, I don't think the player base is enough that they'll have diversity of queues. So you'll see a lot of, disparity in skill levels if they did, try to put queuing with your team. And it's difficult. I think if they had more player base, like triple or times 5, that'd be sustainable. Well, there's no actual reward to AOS. Imagine
add, that could be the gear thing now.
Making money.
There's only AOS gear that you can wear in AOS or something.
I mean,
like dependent on like points that you get from winning or something that you could spend on.
If there was a way to make money while PvPing, I think more people would PvP. Like my issue with AOS is I played like 20 games. I'm like, this is fun, but I just spent 4 hours and I made next to no silver where I could be.
Well, they had a chance to add it into open world trading, but they made it totally AFK horse riding like 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't know who pushed that rework, but
yeah, it's like, I mean, I enjoy PvP. It's not that I'm not a PvP enjoyer. It's just that, it's the same thing of me making a YouTube video. I spent 4 hours making a video that could have been, me grinding for 2 to 3 hours instead, and my account doesn't progress. On top of that, if I'm going and playing PvP, it's like, oh no, more hours sunk where I'm not progressing. And I do want to progress my gear. Like you, Jordan, I enjoyed that grind of pushing your gear further and further. I think that is an integral part of the game, but it's there are things that they need to address with it. Like making cash with a PvP should be a thing. And yes, there are people who are gonna abuse it. All right, let's put a report system in and stop it. You know.
Right. They need active GMs in game or CMs that can read reports and then act on reports or something like that.
To be fair, they do have really good log readability that they can find out exactly what you're doing, and they have staff who do those sort of things. Like if you open a ticket and you say, "Hey, I can't find this item," they'll look through your account and find it. They have other logs, other access than we do. And this was before they added the search functionality. So like even if they just put a report system and follow up on it, yeah, there's going to be people here and there abusing it, but once you ban them for 2 weeks or a month from that PvP
They'll learn
or
their
something,
lesson.
yeah, repeat offenders will be a lot less common.
Depends.
Yeah.
Unless it's like League of Legends.
Man, is what it is. Like I said, that's the thing. Like it's difficult to make that straight up decision in this game. Like there's 2 ways it can go, multiple ways it can go. As long as they keep trying and moving in the right direction, I think we'll be all right.
Boys, banger episode.
Yeah, dude.
I had a lot of fun.
Central
always.
servers won.
Yeah, dude, big one.
Fuck West Coast.
Dude, my enhancing for profit money is literally cut in half because I play on the East Coast of NA.
Exactly.
Texas servers.
My repair speed is literally non-existent. I don't repair, just frame by frame.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
Yeah, banger episode, boys.
All right, then. I guess it's a good time to call it. Let Jordan get some sleep.
Yes.
Good night, Jordan.
Good night. See you guys.
Send him to bed.
Where can we find more of you, Jordan?
Jordan_TV, baby.
Hold on.
Woo.
Let me run away from these mods.
Oh, God.
Hold on.
He needs sleep.
I'll send out the shout outs real quick. Yeah, go check out Jordan, and I'll send one out for D. Oh, I gotta wait 2 minutes. All right. All right, definitely go check out Jordan and D, guys. Actually, if you click Masterminds next to my name on Twitch, all of us are in that group, so you can easily go to our channels, whoever's online. But chat, I appreciate everyone who hung around and just chilled with us. This is definitely a fun thing for us to do. I think I'd like to do it every week, but every other week's good too. I don't know. What do you think, D? Jordan.
Cheese, Manos money.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could just do it every other week.
Yeah.
So then
I'm down.
we got to give the devs enough time to come out with content. So it gives us content.
We need to give them enough time to watch our VOD and write down the ideas, right?
Right.
All right, dudes. It was a pleasure. Until next time.
Adios, amigos.
Yep. Take it easy.